Hello ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is Costa Concordia Part 2. I reacted to already half of the video as Part 1. If you haven't seen that, check out the, I guess there's a pinned comment with the link, so check that out. So yeah, I saw the first part and it kind of pissed me off, all the events that happened, all the incompetency of the captains and things like that, especially the people who owns that cruise ship, who put that guy in charge. I mean, the guy was a security guard and directly became a fucking, captain. What's wrong with you? Even the helmsman was, basically a rookie and didn't even understand the language. There was clear communication error between the people. That was just stupid. Obviously, he had some mistress or whatever with him, the captain. It was just all bad. It just feels like some movie plot or something, but it really happened. But then again, knowing, Italians, that makes sense. Italians are really flamboyant, isn't it? Especially in the Italian Riviera and things like that. He first of all, during the evacuation, he's like, I'm gonna put my suit on and then do something. Like, what the fuck? Priorities, really? So yeah, that was that. All the disaster happened. Ship crashed, people got rescued, some of them really died. I mean, that's just dark. I think this is a dark video in internet historian's side. I don't think any other videos like this. In this video, actually people died. So yeah, he always has this, making fun of people, jolly, showing ridiculous things of people type of videos. That's his style. So if you saw something really dark with that, poking fun at people type of vibe, it doesn't work. But in this, it's just, overall casualties, so his style still works. But yeah, this is kind of a dark video from him. So yeah, let's watch what happens, the aftermath of this. Look, only thing I can think of that, like, they're trying to go salvage the ship, since the ship is really big. But I'm pretty sure in the end, the cost of salvaging is gonna, be extremely high, because it's not easy to salvage all that thing, and you have to do it. You can't just leave it there. So yeah, let's watch this one. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction day. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for all the playlist, and yeah.
But this isn't the end, it's just the halfway point. What most people know is that the Costa Concordia had crashed, many dead, and that the captain abandoned ship like a coward. But there's a whole veritable spaghetti of details to untangle. Let's dive in.
It's not about him being a coward. At the certain points, so there's protocol to tell people certain things. It's the right to know things. He suppressed the knowledge even then. I mean, I understand not to cause panic when it's necessary, but after some time, it just becomes life and death issue. At the point, you have to tell people, like, we have to evacuate or something. Even then, when every protocol tells you that you have to tell your people that this is serious, now you have to evacuate, he still tried to suppress that information. He knew people could die, and he was just trying to save his own ass. Like, clearly it's his fault. He knows that. So he's trying to show that it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, even though he knows people might die. What's wrong with him, man?
There they are. The deets. Blue box time. The Costa Concordia was more than just a floating resort. There's a mall, a casino, cha-ching, cha-ching. This iron chest was full of safes and cash registers and expensive fittings. And there were plenty of gamers prepared to sneak by authorities.
Oh my god, that is right. Yeah, cruise ships has lots of lots of shit in it that could be beneficial. So what, people looted it? This is awesome.
And try their luck in the hot zone. Within days, police divers reported that valuable items, once seen lying around the ship, were now missing.
That sucks,
High-end
really.
liquor, expensive furniture, dining sets, cash from the casino, cash registers, jewelry and display cabinets, safes, Japanese woodblock prints by famous 18th century artists, as well as the iconic bell, which hung from the bridge of the ship. It was never found. Who steals a big fuck-off bell? Even the server admins were getting in.
I mean, yeah, bell is made of what? Bronze? It must be heavy, so it must be, some kilos at least. That must be worth some thousands of bucks, I guess. So it's better than wet socks, I guess.
Involved. 4 divers who were part of the company contracted to refloat the Concordia were spotted on CCTV, sneaking out to the ship. A patrol boat was dispatched, and the men were caught inside the fancy suites with rucksacks full of stolen goods. The 4 men are charged with stealing and thieving and pinching. Later on, stolen as well as legitimate items found their way to Amazon and eBay. Chips from the casino, postcards, and cabin access cards became highly sought after souvenirs.
It even has a watermark.
Some Australian guy even made a listing for the ship itself, advertising it as buyer to collect. And although there were plenty of bidders, eBay pulled the plug.
What the hell?
I know you want to see Scatino go to jail, and we'll get to that. But first, we have to talk about someone else. Dominika Samorton.
That was a close one.
There was speculation that she was on the bridge that evening because she was the captain's mistress.
No shit.
Tense media speculation reports that her presence distracted the captain.
They both denied their love for years and maintained that they were just friends. Although she did later admit to the media that she found him handsome. And how could you not?
You so fucking precious when you smile.
But she says there was no romantic link between them.
Some people would like to believe, they want to know I have something with him. It's more interesting. It's like, some spicy in the story.
Miss Samorton also loved the spotlight.
Come on, man, really? I mean, obviously she was his mistress. I mean, the way she was with him, just went straight into the cabin. What was her fucking position? She didn't work for the cruise ship. She was not part of the crew. Come on, man. And she, after all that, she was actually acting like it's her job to somehow protect whatever happened or something. After people got rescued, somebody was filming and she's like, you don't have right to film. Man, shut the fuck up. Who are you?
Light, however.
Everyone! Oh, look!
And took several interviews. But as the pressure mounted upon her, she began making ominous threats to Scatino, saying he must confess, and that you have but 1 week to come clean. But things from here get weird.
Spicy.
Samorton is a bit of a wild card. In a subsequent interview, she claimed a helicopter came to the ship well before the other rescue craft to take away a package. Huh? And what was that package? Drugs, apparently.
What?
So rumors began that the ship was running narcotics for the mafia. And not without cause. A number of cruise ships, even recently, have been caught trafficking drugs.
Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit, mafios. First of all, if that was the case, she would never in a million years admit that. Really? She has the balls to go against mafia. Mafia would just make her disappear like that. Italian mafia falls. I mean, no way. This is just making this shit up. If it was really true, she wouldn't have said that. Just out of fear.
As an aside, Scatino was tested for drugs immediately after the crash. He tested negative for drugs in his system, but trace amounts of cocaine were found in a hair sample.
Makes it smoother and less dry.
Nonetheless, the
Maybe she did the cocaine and, because of certain acts, he got the cocaine on his head too. That makes sense, because I don't believe mafia had cocaine there. If that were the case, first of all, she would never admit that. I mean, really? Italian mafia, you were transporting, cocaine from Italian mafia or something, and then you admit it on national TV, like, yeah, there was cocaine, there's a helicopter, they were gonna take out cocaine. Really? You'd disappear in a week.
Concordia was searched and no drugs were reportedly ever found. How did we get here? Oh, right, a helicopter. Samorton commented on it again the next day and said, actually, That helicopter was just for the captain as a means of evacuation from the ship. Okay, wait. So she expected to get some sort of first-class rescue while everyone else was still stuck on the ship? Wait, how did we get here? Oh, right, sex with the captain. Divers were quick to head to the captain's cabin, where they found Miss Sir Morton's lingerie and other articles of clothing, as well as a makeup bag. The jig was up, but they continued denying it. Sir Morton mostly faded from international attention until she was told to appear before the court to present witness testimony. The judge pressed her to be truthful about their relationship, or she would be held in contempt.
Either tell me the truth or shut up.
So finally, she admitted it.
Yes, I had a sentimental relationship with the captain.
Stop.
But now, stop asking about
That's
my
the
private
court.
life.
She was indeed the captain's lover.
What is up, Trouble Alert Nation? Scatino cheated on his wife with Seymour 10. Oh my god!
She and Scatino had been having an affair for several weeks. She also said that on the night she boarded, she didn't have a ticket.
Ticket, please.
And didn't need to pay because nobody questions you when you're the captain's lover. Naturally, she gave another confusing interview after leaving court.
Alright, really everybody knew she's the mistress. Why else would she be there with him? She would just walk inside the captain's cabin and things like that. I mean, obviously that was the case. I mean, how is this even a question?
I want to say that today is the second time I die, because the first time I died in the night of the crash with my psychological brain and problems.
What?
And today I died the second time because, of course, people find out something that I try to hide.
Subsequent to the trial, she used her fame in Moldova.
Okay, so she's saying because of the crash, she took lots of psychological strain, so she kind of died there. And then she's saying, I had to admit lots of embarrassing things, so I died again. First of all, you were banging a captain, so you just get a lavish life on the cruise ship. I mean, that might not be crime, maybe, but that's still a shitty thing to do. I mean, you can't bitch about like your life is ruined now. Come on. But you know what? I don't blame her in the end. I don't know what her role was or not. She's not part of the crew, alright? She was just there because of the captain. I blame the captain. It's all captain's fault, alright? She distracted him, that's his fucking fault. Why was she there in the first place? So she wasn't part of the crew, she didn't have any responsibility. Yeah, it might be a shitty thing, whatever she did, especially telling that guy to not film and things like that. I mean, you're not part of the crew, shut the fuck up. But still, I don't blame her that much. There are lots of people like that who just good looking, so they can just go with some guy who has good position or something and just try to live lavish life or something. So yeah, I mean, shitty attitude, sure, but I don't blame her for any of this.
To become a political activist, often appearing on television and radio and in articles covering protests, accompanied by pictures of her being arrested by police.
Look at the guy he's holding her up with his shoe. Isn't this normal look trash?
It was some stuff about victims of violence, women's rights, girl power, yada yada yada, and interestingly, part of a push to block the sale of shares of Moldova's train network to Russia. Sure. Other than that, I don't really know what she's been up to.
Yeah, okay, so I see what she's doing there. She's trying to shift all the attention about her doing all that shitty thing and just erasing her image as being some bimbo who just banging captain so she could live on a cruise life or something. I don't know, so something like that. So she's doing all this social thing to erase her image of that. I don't blame her for that either. What would you do? I mean, that is something you had to do something.
Up to, let me just check on oh god, not again.
What the Does Italy have shortage of hot women? I highly doubt that, since there is such thing as Italian Riviera and there are millions of them there. How is she finding her way into every captain's cabin? Now she's on what? This is airplane? So she's in this cockpit because she's banging some, I guess, pilot or something. What the fuck? How is she finding herself constantly in positions like this?
Several civil suits were quickly lodged against Costa Concordia, and their parent company, Carnival Cruises, immediately saw a share drop of 23%. Passengers sought compensation for their damaged mental health, lost belongings, and loved ones.
Either they allowed him to divert from his course, or they didn't know where their billion-dollar ship was.
Within a few days, facing financial and media pressure, the CEO attempted to join the bandwagon against the captain and the crew.
That was not the ordinary route that the ship was taking at the time, and was not only taking, but the time the ship was...
Claiming that the ship was not approved to deviate from the route. But that wasn't true. Approval isn't required if the ship is deviating by less than 15 miles.
Alright, first of all, here's the thing. I don't know much rules and details about this, but common sense is this. You don't have a captain if you just expect him to just follow a route like some kind of computer. I'm pretty sure captain has lots of, freedoms towards things like this. It's your job to choose a competent captain, not some guy who was security guard, now you just made him a captain. You created $500 million cruise ship, got lots of people on the cruise ship because of your image. You told people this cruise ship is from us, so trust us. So those people do trust you and go on the cruise ship. Now you have responsibility for those people. At the same time, you choose an incompetent captain and this happens, it is completely your fault. It is your fault. You were careless deliberately. You could have chose something right. This wasn't some short, small thing. I mean, you spent $500 million into building this ship. Really, you couldn't find some competent captain. So this is your fault all the way. I mean, deviated from the route. It doesn't matter how you see it. I mean, they're trying to say this is captain's fault. Of course it is. But why was the captain in the first place there? Why didn't you choose somebody more competent? This is your fault.
Or that it was against company rules. Also untrue, because investigators found that they didn't have any rules about deviating route, and they tacitly encouraged sail-by salutes. Now, in response to the civil suits, Costa Concordia offered passengers €11,000 each as compensation.
That's kind of small.
€11,000, about $14,000, is the minimum compensation under international law when a ship is abandoned.
This was to reimburse them for their tickets, as well as any cost.
First of all, fuck you. This is a massive ship, alright? Lots of people are on board the ship. Its ship literally toppled over and crashed. Lots of people died too. You can't just say €11,000 and that's it, go home. Really?
Costs they accrued in having to unexpectedly travel home early.
And that was supposed to release them from everything and anything that has to do with this accident. I cannot ask for more than this.
A lot of passengers, understandably, were not too happy with this deal, and they refused to take the money.
We think the offer is an insult. For what these poor passengers went through, we think that the compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Here, take it.
Compensation being offered is not commensurate.
Later, Costa Concordia would lodge a plea deal with the Tuscany court to pay a €1 million fine to avoid a criminal trial. The judge agrees. Costa Concordia is now off the hook for all criminal liability for the whole thing. They've washed their hands of the incident.
Really? In just $1 million? That's nothing. Look, first of all, the ship costed $500 million. They probably spent over $1 billion, I'm sure of it, by just scavenging thing. I'm pretty sure that look, I don't know about this, but I know that if you want to have a scavenging effort in some cruise ship or giant ship, there are so many details go through it, and it probably cost them over $1 billion. I'm pretty sure it would have done. So already they're they're already losing lots of money. $1 million is nothing.
And flecked the residual droplets of responsibility onto the faces of 6 staff members. Passengers and relatives of the dead are livid that the company has been able to avoid criminal responsibility.
Offered is not commensurate.
Civil suits against the company continue. By the way, the residents of the island of Giglio also banded together and sought damages. They didn't get much.
What damages?
Eventually, passengers who refused the initial compensation of $11,000 joined civil parties against Scatino in his trial in 2015.
It's not commensurate.
They were awarded €30,000 each. Other cases, especially those involving lost relatives, are settled for undisclosed amounts.
Yeah, that should have been high. That should have been high. Because you can't just say, what, here's 40 or 50,000. I'm sorry, one of your relative that trusted us and went on just a cruise to enjoy their holiday is dead. So here's just few thousand. I'm pretty sure that was a good enough amount of money. Damn.
New York attorney Peter Renee travelled to Budapest to represent 6 real survivors of the disaster.
At Renee & Renee, we personally work on every case.
And we'll work harder than anyone to get you the most money possible in the shortest amount of time.
And while on the job, a 7th case cropped up via email. An elderly woman, Alona, said,
"Help me, Mr. Ronai, for I have lost my daughter, Eva, and my 5-year-old granddaughter, Roxana."
So Mr. Renai agreed to speak with her. However, there were some inconsistencies in her story. Neither Eva nor Roxana were on the passenger list. Odd, but Costa is known for having stowaways.
Gotcha, bitch.
Still, Mr. Renai was suspicious. They wouldn't cheaty old Petey, would they? Renai inquired further about why she was on board, especially without a ticket. Ilona said,
"Well, I don't know, but you should ask her boyfriend.
Zolt Horvath.
He'll know all the details."
I'm up all night. I'm going crazy, he said. But Mr. Renai was still suspicious. Because then she asked, "How much money do you think this is worth?" This is a huge red flag, Petey. In 20 years of doing this, you've never had anyone ask about money. Why now?
Can they be more stupid? Seriously, man. How much money is this worth?
So Mr. Renai hired an investigator and sent photos around of the missing girl. The next day, the phone rang. Oh, hoi hoi. It was the boyfriend again. Look, there's been a bit of a misunderstanding and the child isn't missing at all. Uh-huh. And then he claimed he was confused because he had done too many drugs the night before. Oh. Okay, can I speak to the daughter then? At first, he was refused. So Renai said that he'd have to file a missing persons report to the police if he couldn't. The boyfriend relented.
Man, talking about a competent lawyer. Damn, he just went all detective on this shit. This is a good lawyer, man. He's going very deep.
That night, Renai met with Zolt and brought the police with him. He speaks to the granddaughter and asks her if she's seen Mum. Yeah, I saw her today. Oh, really? Yeah, we went to the park today and we went on the swings. Oh no, the jig was up. So the mum walks into the room sheepishly. It's a miracle! And the story changed again. Okay, I'm not dead, but I did injure my leg when I jumped from the ship. And then I immediately flew back to Budapest. Although don't worry about checking my leg because there are no visible marks or injuries. Oh, Petey, I'm beginning to think they weren't even on the boat. Also, it turns out this lady isn't her mum, it's just a neighbor. Eventually, Renee managed to make the pair confess. And then they said, hey, we haven't done anything wrong. We haven't taken any money. And in the end, it looks like there'll be no criminal punishment for the scam, because Hungary, a former communist country, has no laws against insurance fraud on the books.
The law firm that never sleeps, call 1-800-66.
Really, fraud is not a crime? Damn, just they can just lie like this and like, yeah, we haven't done anything wrong. Really? Damn.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, the lawyer was seriously good, man. He just went all detective on that shit, went detail. If there was any other big firm lawyer or anything like that, they would have just like, yeah, 7th case, you know, bring it on, we'll see about it or something like that. But no, he just went all in detail to see credibility of it. So lawyer is really good, man.
Oh, that's a very bad idea.
God, I'm loving this video.
Mario, would you teach me some Italian?
Oh, of course! Means get back on board for fuck's sake.
Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah, that guy. Was telling the captain.
Yeah. The naval officer who shouted at Scatino to Vada a bordo caso became a bit of a national hero overnight in Italy. He, like the rest of the world, expected Scatino to go down with the ship.
This is awesome.
And when the captain chickened out, DeFalco was there to admonish him. And when he stopped answering the radio, he called him on his cell phone to continue putting him on blast. When the captain first
Lot of trouble.
reported just a blackout, DeFalco didn't believe the story and immediately began preparing a rescue effort, which likely saved several lives. His actions were applauded by most Italians who were tired of their public servants being corrupt and avoiding responsibility. Accordingly, shirts sporting Vada a bordo caso were being printed by the
Yeah, I guess the trust in government is not high in Italy because of the mafia, I guess, because everybody seems corrupt because of mafia. But yeah, seriously, this guy just was, really pissed off and telling captain to get the fuck on the boat and try to rescue people. That is really commendable, man. That was good.
end of the week, others setting it as their phone's ringtone. But then,
became a meme.
In September 2014, without warning, DeFalco was transferred to an admin role in the Coast Guard.
Hear what I said? He'd been demoted.
DeFalco said that he had been passed up for promotion, that he had also not been told which admin office he was even being transferred to,
Why?
and that it all effectively cancelled 10 years of his career. DeFalco was tres furioso, and there was public speculation that it was owing to bad blood between himself and Admiral Delano, his former boss. His status among the public overshadowed his superior in many ways. On the other hand, his boss said, no, it's part of a normal career progression for naval officers and that he must show more maturity and professionalism to advance his career. Now, it's hard to know what's true in office politics, so let's leave that alone. And anyway, in 2018, DeFalco said,
So let me get this straight. The guy was on the actual scene, saw the captain as being a pussy basically, so he was getting pissed off at the captain. That went viral. He literally went there at the crash site and tried to rescue people, and did rescue people, saved lots of lives, and that somehow put spotlight on him, so his superior was pissed off. I mean, it's not like he just had spotlight on him just by chance. He did these things. Spotlight should be on him. And his superior's like, it's what does his superior thinks? The spotlight should on him instead of this guy? Why did the superior of him did that guy went to the crash site and tried to save people? No, this is really stupid, man. Why hold a grudge? I mean, this guy's accents is the reason why spotlight is on him.
Buenas noches, later to the Italian Navy to become a politician. In March that year, he was elected to the Italian Senate, serving as a member for Livorno. He still serves there today.
I'm the captain now.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, if you have that kind of fame and love of people, becoming politician is the fruitful thing to do. Goosebumps music.
The day after the disaster, Schettino was taken into custody by police and underwent questioning. However, it was clear that this would not be a straightforward investigation. So the judge released him under house arrest at his home in Sorrento, a town in Napoli. By July of that year, the house arrest was relaxed and he was allowed within this general area. While under house arrest, he wrote a book with this journalist from Rai magazine. I have no idea what it says, I don't speak Italian. But goddammit, he must have some kind of charisma going on, because there's been a lot of speculation in the press that he had an affair with her as well.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Hold on, I got it. Not content with abandoning his ship, this dude is determined to abandon his wife as well. So, Schettino and 5 others are facing criminal charges. Straight away.
He's Italian, having 2 mistresses on his shoulder, going on a boat on Italian Riviera. I mean, this is... Can you get more stereotypical? Damn.
Everyone lodges a plea bargain with the court, and all of those plea bargains are accepted, except for Schettino's. And the condition of everyone's reduced sentences are that they must provide witness testimony against Schettino.
He touched me.
Alright.
Ciro, Jacob, and Silvia were all given suspended sentences. Roberto and Manrico are able to opt for community service or house arrest. Not a bad deal.
A good deal. Good deal.
And that meant that Schettino was now all on his own. Ciro, the first officer, was the first to give his testimony. On the witness stand, he claimed that Schettino was distracted by his mistress and other guests on the bridge.
Oh my God.
That there was confusion over who was in command. Then it was Jacob's turn. And he said Lamau XD because he didn't actually bother with his testimony or his reduced sentence. He just fled the country. It took authorities 12 months to eventually track him down on the outskirts of Jakarta. And when they said, "Oi, we still want that witness testimony," he just scalped again. And he hasn't been found since. After that, Ferrarini gave his testimony.
What the fuck? So he didn't... I mean... Did they just, grabbed him from some place and made him, the helmsman or whatever? And as soon as he realized there could be trouble, he just fled. So he had no investment in Italy or anything. He didn't care about losing anything there because he didn't have anything there. He just fled and still flying. I mean, this is stupid, man.
Then look, we don't have time to relitigate the whole trial, so let's just go straight to the verdict. Guilty! Schettino was found guilty of multiple manslaughter, causing a shipwreck, abandoning ship, and lying to authorities. He is sentenced to 16 years and 1 month in prison.
Good. It is his fault.
But wait, there's still the appeals. The appeals trial begins. And the verdict on the appeal? Surprise! Rejected! So Schettino's lawyers appealed again. And the verdict on the final appeal?
Schettino made multiple attempts to secure a plea deal but was denied by the prosecution each time. The prosecution called for Schettino to be sentenced to 26 years in prison, calling the incident a Titanic affair.
Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Schettino was not present. His lawyers stated that he was waiting outside of the jail for the ruling, so that if his plea was rejected, he could immediately start serving his sentence. And with that, 5 years and 4 months after the disaster, he was finally in a cell.
I will not be making any comment. Oh, that hurt.
Oh, good, finally. I mean, seriously, what a shitty thing to do. I mean, look, people could think that he was just careless. I mean, he didn't have malicious intent, but that doesn't matter. I mean, be careless with your life, not with so many people. I mean, you're a captain with so many people on board and you try to oversmart and do things. I mean, you don't even have much of experience being captain. You're a security guard, for fuck's sake. So yeah, this is about right.
The salvage operation was enormous. It took over 2 years and cost an estimated $1.2 billion.
See that? I told you. I knew it would have been somewhere around billion. Because, I've seen some stories about past where, some salvage operation like this scale is, high triple-digit millions or even billions. So I knew it would be something like that.
Beginning in early 2012, they first spent 2 months pumping fuel from the ship's tanks. At the same time, they had to pump seawater in so that the balance wasn't affected and the ship didn't slide around. In early 2013, a platform was built under the ship to prevent it from falling further. Sponsons were then attached to the sides of the ship and cables attached to the underwater platform. The sponsons were then dragged underwater and opened up to allow the ocean to fill them. The ship could then roll over properly. By late 2013, the ship was upright once more. The sponsons were then attached to the side of the ship to help keep it balanced. It now rested partially above water and crews could walk around safely. By July 2014, the water was removed from the sponsons and compressed air was pumped in to lift the ship. And she was ready to cruise again. This time to a port in Genoa. It was a 4-day towing journey to the docks where a 2-year process of dismantling and recycling would begin. That same weekend of the towing, Schettino was busy. He was the guest of honor at a white party on an island in the Bay of Naples. He appeared on the front page of a local newspaper, flanked by 2 of Italy's most eligible bachelorettes. Anyway, so these are the things that I remember from the Costa Concordia. That sweet maiden of the sea. And as for you, little fella, well, it's time to return you from whence you came. 6 quick things. 1. NordVPN, good product, check them out. Number 2. There's a new video on the second channel. You probably didn't see it because it was temporarily restricted. Now it's not. Enjoy. 3. If you've never seen the second channel before, give it a go. It's a different...
How was it restricted? I reacted to that video. My video wasn't restricted, so I don't know.
different type of content, but we put a lot of production into it. It's not just offcuts. 4. There are a couple secret channels as well, but I ain't telling you where they are.
Yeah, I think I know that channel. Somebody commented that there is a secret internet historian channel. I've seen that channel. It has only 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers, or at least it was when I saw it a few days ago. I mean, clearly it's internet historian, his voice is there, so people are not realizing or something like that. But it's ridiculous to see how very few views it gets, and it just had 2,000 or 3,000 something subscribers. Like, god damn, this is internet historian channel. It just has 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers because he's not promoting it. He's not saying this is my channel, but he uploaded some videos about Silent Hill or something like that. He was just trying out things. I'm gonna react to that, to get more people to know that this channel exists. He might not want that, but I'm going to do that.
5. No more 45-minute videos on the main channel. Back to 10 to 15 minutes and more of them. 6.
Thank
There's
God.
a Q&A coming out next week on incognito mode. It's got a ton of detail that we had to cut for the sake of brevity, and will no doubt feature a ton of corrections as well. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, this was so good video. I don't know why he changed lots of his setup. I guess the way he's showing, setup by setup, portion by portion, the music he's playing, the editing was great. His quality is going up. You know what? As a reactor, it's good news to see that 10-15 videos. Yeah, so I can react to it. But you know what? The hour-long videos that he makes, I mean, it feels like documentaries. So I don't know if it's going to be good as this, but I'm pretty sure his strength lies into the short, just great videos. I mean, 10-15 minute videos. He could probably make more videos because of it. I'm pretty sure editing an hour-long video takes even longer time. That's why he makes a video every 6 or 7 months now. If he go back to 10-15 minute setup, he could create video every 2 or so months. That's at least better. He can cover more stories, and we can just get his side of it. It's still going to be fine. So yeah, this was all just stupid. Cruise ship company, getting a stupid captain on there. That's their fault. Captain's fault was there, obviously, and yeah, everything else is just what you expect. The cruise company didn't pay that much money. They just escaped with not many losses in that front. Obviously, people who were hurt didn't get that much money. I mean, you could argue that they got enough money, but that's not enough money with all the shit that happened. People who died, that's just stupid. People just went there to have fun, and in this day and age, in 2010s, who would have thought that Titanic like shit happens and people die? So they had no idea what's gonna happen. Captain handled it so badly that even when he should have told people, like, finally this is just going too much, I have to tell them now there's an issue. All protocols tells you that you have to tell them like it's time to evacuate. He didn't tell anybody nothing. So that was just, I think, that was just too shitty. So 16 years of prison, I guess that's about right. So yeah, that was the Costa Concordia. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out other reaction I did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for all the playlists like Internet Historian, CGP Grace, Salmonella, Let Me Know, things like that. Other playlists too, check them out. Check out the end cards, I guess. And yeah, I'll see you next time.